Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be starting a new series, which we're going to be calling the series 101, Writing 101. So Writing 101 is going to be me basically talking about like little things that you could do that make your writing better. And today's Writing 101 is going to be called Show, Don't Tell, which is more of like how to improve like your quality of the writing and how to make it more interesting. So let's get right into the lesson. When it comes to emotion, or that's what we're going to talk about first. When it comes to emotion, you should not just say like their emotions. So you shouldn't be like, oh, she was sad, she was angry, she was like happy. If you think about it and you read it, it's so boring. You're just giving the reader like exactly what it is. They don't have to work for it. They can't even like picture it. They don't know, okay, so she was happy, but was she smiling or was she jumping up and down? Like what kind of happy was she? I actually have an example here. So it's like the bad example would be like she was mad, but the good example would be like, here I have my handy dandy notebook where I write stuff down. The good example would be something along the lines of, she clenched her fists hard enough that he could see the white of her knuckles, a fire burning brighter than the sun in her eyes. You could tell she's mad. Like, you don't need to explicitly say she's mad. I'm not saying that was a perfect example. I'm just saying body cues of like what you write, you're showing the emotion rather than just telling the reader and just giving them exactly what you would have given them, but with a lot more subtlety. It just adds more depth to your writing and it makes it more interesting. Another one would be like in actions. Okay, so like another one would be like trying to describe the scenery or like the imagery around them. Show us, don't tell us. Like a bad example would be like, clearly this house had been abandoned for many years. You're just giving the information to the reader.
Don't do that.
Let them figure it out. Let them picture exactly what's gonna happen. Like you could say something like, he ran his hand atop of the table, a thick cloud of dust floating dazedly into the air at the action as it joins the thick, musty air of the house. Not perfect, but you definitely get a better picture. You can actually get this, like a visual, and you can get, there's even like some like smell in there. You gotta give us something to imagine. Put us in the world. Don't just say, oh, she's mad. The house is old. Like, what does it smell like? What does it look like? What is she doing? What is he doing? Like, what exactly is that emotion? What exactly is that, like, describing word? Don't just say the describing word. So there's an exception for it. I honestly think if you're trying to be outright, like, let's say, like, you have a whole wall of text that's, like, super flowery, like, the whole, like, dust thing. Like, you're describing the dust in the musty old house, and then, like, you break it up with something that's like, oh, he was confused. You don't have to always show, don't tell, but I think generally when you're writing, you should do that. You should follow that whole idea of like showing us rather than just telling us, unless you're doing it intentionally. That's the key. Like if you're doing it intentionally to break up some really flowery text, or you're doing it to just like really like pack a punch, you should just outright say it. But otherwise, it's better to show and not tell. And like I have some more examples here. So it's like kind of like, which one sounds better? So it'd be like, he looked confused and said, that doesn't seem right. Or, his brow furrowed and his lips pressed together in a deep frown. That doesn't seem right. Which one's more interesting? I hope you think the second one. Another one, the bad version would be like, she felt so sad and wanted to cry. The better version, hopefully, an overwhelming ache engulfed her heart, and her limbs felt so terribly heavy, weighing her down with this deep-seated depression that brought hot, unwelcome tears to her eyes. It's just more interesting. It's taking your writing to another level. So you just gotta elevate your writing so it's more interesting and people are more brought into this world that you're creating. If you just tell us everything and give the reader every single thing that you're talking about, it's going to be boring. It's very basic writing. So you just want to elevate your writing to another level. So overall, my opinion is that you should really just try and make your writing super descriptive. Like, description is key, and I honestly think it just makes your writing so much more interesting, your book so much more interesting. Readers want to be able to figure out the mystery, and that's how you communicate with your friends in real life. You're able to pick up body cues, so it's like when you write it, it's not going to be that hard for them to figure out. Like, if they're clenching their fist, of course that means they're angry. If they are shaking, that means they're scared. Like, it's really basic body language, but people can really figure that out, and it just makes it more interesting, and you can start to see the characters. So overall, those are my tips for that. That's our first writing 101, making sure you show and don't tell everything that happens. You just show us, give more description. And that's all for us. So our links are going to be down in the description. You can see my book down there. We got a whole bunch of other stuff. We got a lot of cool stuff coming out soon. So, Kathleen, do you have anything to say?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. All right, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.